Senator, you have the next question. With the decline in natural gas prices as well as the national shift away from coal to electric power, it is likely that Wyoming's revenue picture will not be as rosy as the past decade. What are your budget priorities? Where would you like to cut spending to keep expenditures in line with revenues?
Price of natural gas right now is right around that $2 per million cubic feet. That's the way they measure it. Every time the price of gas drops $1, the tax revenue drops $100 million for natural gas. That's how dependent we are. In view of where we're at now, roughly $2 and a little bit of change at either hub. It seems to me we have to go in and look at budgets, which I can do. I can probably read the budget better than virtually any other senator that's serving now. I spent a long time on appropriations. It's not difficult to read, it's kind of a knack to reading it. You go in and if we're going to cut, let's cut where it makes sense. Let's minimize the bloodletting. But let's understand what we need as the population of the state and the population of these counties need. And let's match it up. There are ways to cut it. In my job as chairman of the Highways, Transportation, and Military Affairs Committee, that's the committee I chair. I work with two agencies, the military department. I've already sat down with them. The governor's asked for an 8% cut. We can make an 8% cut, and it will minimize the damage. I will tell you, I am still negotiating with the Department of Transportation. That's a mammoth budget, but my goal is, in my negotiations with them, is to say that we take care of the maintenance of our highways. First and foremost, this state relies on our highway system, be it city streets, county roads, state highways, state federal highways, or our three interstates. I'm going to protect the money we have to maintain our highways. We're right in the midst of negotiations with those folks. That's what I do on your behalf.
Mr. Johnson.
This is a great editorial in the Buffalo Bulletin on the 19th of April. Oh Lordy, please give us just one more boom. This time we won't screw it up. Well, I agree with that to a good extent, to a great extent. Because let me tell you folks, it doesn't matter whether Mitt Romney wins this election or Barack Hussein Obama, hard times are coming. Because Washington has already bankrupted this whole country, and sure, we're sitting pretty good, in a good spot here in Wyoming, because we're sitting on top of all these mineral resources underground. But this is going to filter back to us, because Washington has been giving us mandates and paying for it to some degree in the past, but that's going to peter out, and we're going to be left high and dry. So we need people in Cheyenne, in the legislature, who will be tough and will stand up to any further mandates coming down from Washington, whether it's a Republican regime or a Democrat one. And we have to also have people in Cheyenne who will be frugal with the bucks. It's going to be hard times, folks. I've seen it since I came to Wyoming 4 years ago. Things have gone downhill, really downhill. And I told people 4 years ago when I got here what was coming. And it's happening, and it's going to get worse. So, we have to be very frugal. We have to be very careful. We don't need any new taxes, folks. We don't need any new taxes. We need to find where those money parts are stuck back around, like the Game and Fish Commission has, trying to spend $3 million to buy Lake DeSmet. That's the last thing in the world that we need. There's plenty of money around. We don't need any new taxes.
Senator, you have a 1 minute rebuttal if you wish.
It may be the only thing that Mr. Johnson and I agree on is, he's right, that we're facing hard times. Let me point out that almost 10 years ago, a member of the House of Representatives named Frank Phelps, some of you may know him from over in Thermop, and myself, carried a bill that diverted an extra 1% of the severance tax into our permanent mineral trust fund. That money gets invested, doesn't cost the citizens anything in taxes, and yet now it has become the third leading revenue stream for the state. If you want to talk about adding a diversity of revenue streams to the state, I've done it, and I know how to do it. And again, I have lived through the hard times before my opponent even thought about living in Wyoming.